How can differentiation in education help with teaching and learning? What does differentiation in education mean, and how can it help with teaching and learning? In this video, we look to answer this question by providing 5 methods teachers can use to make learning easier for students. Differentiation in education means offering students varying options to approach their learning that makes it easier for them to be at their best. Differentiation in education may seem like an overwhelming task for teachers, especially when class sizes are large. However, when approached in the right way, it can make for better relationships between teachers and students. Click in the top right corner to watch our video on the 4 important elements to building positive teacher-student relationships. Students who feel like they are different from others in the class because they don't seem to understand the lesson, when it seems like everyone else does, may begin to let their negative emotions take over their learning. When negative emotions set in, students may either close up and not want to communicate, or they may begin to act out and cause behavior problems in the classroom. These actions may begin to impact on their mental health and their identity, or who they feel they are in the classroom. Learning online may make matters worse for students who feel like they can't keep up in the normal classroom. Click in the top right corner to watch our video on how student mental health impacts on student identity as well as student learning in the online classroom. How students learn. Enough research in education has been done to prove the theory that there are different learning styles that students use. As part of assessing their students, teachers need to become more aware of using these learning styles in the classroom. In schools, the general assumption is that most students are auditory learners, meaning they learn best by listening. However, there needs to be consideration into other learning styles. For example, some students are visual learners. They learn best when they have more concrete or visual images to look at. And other students are tactile learners, using their sense of touch to learn best. In knowing how best their students learn, teachers can begin to use different methods of classroom differentiation. 5 methods of classroom differentiation. The 5 methods discussed in this video are meant to be a guide for teachers in giving students of varying abilities the best chances when it comes to their learning. The key words to focus on with differentiation in education is variation and flexibility. When teachers create lesson plans, allowing for variation and flexibility in pacing, in tasks, and in outcomes, this gives students the best chance for learning. Teachers can't really begin to use differentiation methods in the classroom until they have begun to assess the students' academic ability. When teachers are assessing students to help with differentiation, they should use formative assessments. Formative assessments are ongoing and can give better insight into a student's academic ability over the summative assessments. To learn more about assessments and the different kinds of assessments teachers can use in the classroom, visit the EduKitchen website. Flexible pacing. When teachers plan their lessons, they need to keep in mind that they teach to the average of the class. What does average of the class mean? The average of the class is the pace at which the majority of the class learns. There will always be students who learn at a pace faster or slower than the average. For students who learn at a faster pace, teachers should have extension activities prepared to keep those students from causing problems in the class because they are bored. For students who learn at a slower pace, teachers should ensure that from all the tasks students are to complete during class, they have completed the main ones that show basic understanding of the lesson. Let's take a look at how we can differentiate a lesson on adding fractions. For students who learn at a faster pace, an extension activity could be that they create a word problem that requires students to add fractions. For students who learn at a slower pace, teachers should ensure that they have mastered all the rules there is when it comes to adding fractions. Forward-thinking tasks. In knowing the varying paces at which students learn, teachers should look to assign forward-thinking tasks so that students can show just how much they have learned from the lesson. What are forward-thinking tasks? These are tasks in which the questions or activities get progressively harder so that it remains interesting for the varying levels of students. Let's go back to our lesson on adding fractions. The first activity could have students add fractions where the denominators are the same. The next activity that gets progressively harder is to have students add fractions with varying denominators. Formative outcomes. How teachers ask questions, assign tasks or activities can either limit or expand on how students get things done. Instead of setting up questions, tasks, or activity outcomes to have only one right way of doing things, allow students the flexibility in using their understanding of lesson objectives and finding their own way when getting things done. Doing so will help with building critical thinking skills and showing their creative side. This may also prevent students who have only a basic understanding from falling further behind. Math is a perfect example of how there is more than one right way to get to the answer. Group pairing. Creating mixed ability groups may help encourage the weaker students to participate more. Working together in groups can benefit both the stronger students and weaker students in their own ways. Stronger students can offer ideas to explore, offer support to weaker students, and be the role models for the weaker students in answering questions. Note: it is important that the teacher takes the time to explain to students the proper way to work in groups so that no one feels left out or be made to feel like they are not as important as others in the group. Remember, kindness matters. Digital resources. Nowadays, it goes without saying just how important the role technology plays in the classroom. Teachers may find that students who don't like to use books may thrive more when they use digital equipment because they have a passion for computers. Digital resources may make learning easier for those who find books overwhelming. Therefore, if the teacher can provide the use of EdTech tools that will help students meet their learning outcomes, then this method of differentiation may benefit those students. Click in the top right corner to watch our video on how to use popular EdTech tools in the classroom. Students who have a passion for what interests them will show their level of intelligence that may surprise their teacher that may have labeled the student as weak. As varied as people are in their tastes, pursuits, and passions, it is best that the teacher allow for flexibility in having students express what they understand in their own way. In doing so, teachers will find that students are more cooperative, making classroom management easier for everyone. Click in the top right corner to watch our video on classroom management strategies in any classroom. For more on teachers and teaching strategies from EduKitchen Recipes for Learning, visit our website at edukitchen.net or subscribe to our YouTube channel at EduKitchen Recipes for Learning. EduKitchen would like to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on differentiation in education. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to EduKitchen Recipes for Learning for more educational content and videos like this. And until next time, keep learning and have fun. Thanks for watching.